Hello dear students, how are you? Are you fine today? As you know, yesterday we talked about the sentence and its types. We looked at the definition of a sentence, okay, and its main parts, how to parse a sentence into two broader categories, that is subject and verb or predicate, okay, and we also talked about its types, okay. Sentences have two types. Sentences have to look into, okay, keeping two categories in mind, like types of sentences based on their meaning or purpose, and the sentences are sentence types based on their structure. According to purpose, we talked about its four different types, like declarative or assertive sentences, statement, you can say that, with examples. And the next we talked about yesterday is interrogative sentence, okay, and I also talked about the types of interrogatives, the polar and the WH, right? And what we more talked about the types of sentence according to purpose is exclamatory sentences. We talked about exclamatory sentences, what are they, and we also looked at different examples of, okay, exclamatory sentences. And what we further added was imperative sentences. What are imperative? We defined imperative, and we also had some examples of imperative sentences. Dear students, today I'll talk about optative sentences, okay. There are different grammarians, okay, linguists, who are of the view that there are 5 types of sentences according to purpose. So they add optative sentence into this type. But there are, okay, some grammarians, okay, a school of thought. There are linguists who are of the view that exclamatory sentences and the optative sentences are the same. So they do not go for further division of these two types. Anyways, I will define it to you, though it is not given in the slides, okay. What are optative sentences? Optative sentences, optative in Urdu you can say it as duaiya jumle. Optative sentences are sentences that express a hope, wish, keen desire, or a prayer. Optative sentences generally end with an exclamation mark, okay. This is the confusion, okay. This is the thing which exists in common, okay, between the exclamatory sentences and optative sentences, both end with exclamation mark, right, like this. Okay, let's have some examples of optative sentences. I wish I were a prince. May God bless you. May you live long. May Allah bless you with a bright career. Okay. Would that I were the president of Pakistan, like that. So here arises a question, dear students, that is, how do they differ from exclamatory sentences? If the both end with exclamation mark, how to differentiate them? Well, exclamatory sentences contain sudden expressions of admiration, surprise, disgust, sorrow, or any intense emotion, and they always have an exclamation mark, either at the end or in the middle. But this is one of the ways to make different difference or this is one of the ways to differentiate between optative sentences and exclamatory sentence. Exclamatory sentences may take or may have exclamation mark in the middle. Middle means after interjections. It means exclamatory sentences have not mandatory. It is not mandatory. It is not necessary, but may have interjections like wow, awesome, alas, oh, hooray, okay, God, right? But optative sentence do not have exclamatory exclamation or exclamatory words or interjections like these. Okay, and there is one more thing about it. All of these expressions have the same thing in common. They are expressing a wish or a hope for something. Okay, they aren't things over which the speaker has any control, but rather they are sentiments. Okay, both if we look at the exclamatory sentences or optative sentences, okay, both are sentiments actually, right? But okay, with minute investigation you can differentiate, or you can come to its subtle differences, okay, exist between the exclamatory sentences and the optative sentences, right? Now comes the next category, that is, okay, we are to start the types of sentences according to structure, the way it has been structured, the way the sentences have been structured. Okay, a sentence can consist of a single clause or several clauses. What is a clause? A clause is a part of a longer sentence with its own subject and predicate, okay, which may or may not give complete sense. So clauses make parts of a sentence. Okay, to make it simpler, I should say sentences may have clauses. Okay, to be a sentence there must be an independent clause. Okay, clauses are of two types: independent clauses and dependent clauses. Okay, dependent clauses, independent clauses, we have noun clause, adjective clause, okay, and adverb clause, right? And independent clauses do not carry any further categories or division. So dear students, a sentence can consist of a single clause or several clauses. A sentence must contain at least one independent clause. That is mandatory. To be a sentence there must be an independent clause, one independent clause. There are the four types of sentence structures. Okay, just keep in mind the clause. Okay, basically the number of clause or the number of clauses make the types of sentences according to structure, right? Okay, let's have the first kind, that is a simple sentence. What is a simple sentence? This is the first type according to structure. A simple sentence has just one independent clause. For example, the children are happy, they love dancing. Okay, if you look at these examples, they do not carry any conjunction. Okay, so what I should say, they only have, okay, one verb, single verb. Basically the number of verbs makes the differences: simple, compound and complex. Okay, since these two examples are concerned, if you look at these examples, just look at, okay, the children are happy, are, and they love. Okay, both the sentences have single verb, so they have single thought. Okay, That is why they are called independent clauses. So this kind of sentence, a sentence having one independent clause, it means having single thought, with single verb, are called simple sentences. That is its structure. What are compound? A compound sentence has two independent clauses or sentences. The independent clauses can be joined by coordinating conjunctions like such as and, for, but, and sometimes you may also go for semicolon to compensate these conjunctions. I have a formula to make this concept easier. That is, you just read this word on your notebook. That is fan voice, F-A-N-E-B-O-Y-S. F for F stands for right? A for also and also and N for neither, right? E for either, B for but, O for or, Y for yet, S for so, right? If a sentence have these conjunctions are called coordinate conjunctions. Why are they called so coordinate? Coordinate conjunctions are those conjunctions which join sentences of equal rank or equal status, that is independent sentences or independent clauses. Means coordinate conjunction join independent clauses, right? And coordinating conjunctions, to keep memorize the coordinate conjunctions, I have just given you a formula, that is fan voice. Just keep this formula in mind, and you should also know the keys of those formula as I have just told you. For example, he ran out of money, so so he had come back home. He had he ran out of money. The money he had got exhausted, so he had to come back. This sentence, since this sentence has coordinate conjunction and the clause he ran out of money and he had to come back home, these two clauses are independent. You can separate these two clauses. If you go for its separation, they can stand of their own, so they are independent. It doesn't depend on this, right? This is the result. He had come back home. This is the result. The sky is clear, the moon is shining. You can also write it as here, and the sky is clear and the moon is shining. Why? Because the moon, when we can see the moon when the sky is clear. You have the choice, that sometimes you can go for semicolon to compensate the conjunctions as well, right? So dear students, compound sentences are one of the types of sentences according to structure. So they have compound sentences, or the sentences which have two independent clauses joined by coordinate conjunctions. Good. Now comes the complex sentence. A complex sentence contains an independent clause and at least one dependent clause. At least one dependent clause. An independent clause can stand alone as a sentence and makes a complete thought, while a dependent clause cannot stand alone even though it has a subject and a verb. So a complex sentence is a sentence, okay, with at least one dependent, okay, one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses, right? And joined by, and it is joined by, a complex sentence is joined by subordinate conjunctions like because, okay, although, after, before, even if, even though, once, okay, rather than, since, so that, then, that, okay. These are where, while, okay, these are subordinate conjunction. Subordinate conjunction, a subordinate conjunction is a word or phrase that links a dependent clause to an independent clause. This word or phrase indicates that a clause has informative value to add to the sentence main idea, signaling a cause and effect relationship or a shift in time and place between the two clauses. This is really very important, okay, right? So for example, because he wouldn't wear a seat belt, okay, because he wouldn't wear a seat belt, he was not allowed to enter in the stadium with his car, okay, right? This is the reason, okay, why he was not allowed to enter into the stadium, because he, okay, would not wear a seat belt, right? Just look at this sentence. I always make friends quickly wherever I live. Wherever I live, okay, this is what I should say about it. This is, okay, a shift in time and place between two clauses, okay, wherever I live. Some people tell me that money cannot buy happiness, okay, this is the answer to this. Some people tell. What do some people tell? Okay, some people tell me that money cannot buy happiness, okay. In these two sentences, that and wherever are subordinate conjunctions, right? Now comes the next type, that is a compound complex sentence. A compound complex sentence has at least two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause, okay. It has two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause, okay. There is no restriction regarding dependent clauses, but as far as independent clauses, there must be at least two independent clauses. Okay, we decided that we would read the book together. It is an example. But Tom, who is very selfish, did not share the book with me. Okay, look at this. We decided that we decided is independent. What, okay, we decided, okay, or what did we decide? That we would read the book together. This is, okay, dependent one. But Tom, who is very selfish, is, since it is an adjective clause, so this is again dependent. Okay, Tom did not share the book with me. Tom did not share the book with me. Okay, this gives additional information about Tom. So we decided, and Tom did not share the book with me. They are independent clauses. So this example has two independent clause and two dependent clause. You have no restriction regarding number of dependent clauses, but it must have two, at least two. This is the minimum requirement to be a compound complex sentence. You must have two independent clauses. So today we talked about some types of sentences according to structure, in which we just have talked about a simple sentence. What is a simple sentence? A simple sentence is a sentence with an independent clause or single independent clause, having no conjunctions, or having single thought. Number of thoughts basically depends on number of verbs. If you have more than one verb, then there would be more than one thought. And we also discussed a compound sentence. A compound sentence is a sentence which has two independent clauses joined by coordinate conjunctions. Coordinate conjunctions, I have given you a formula, that is fanboys. Just open the keys and keep them written in your mind. The next we have talked about is a complex sentence. A complex sentence is a sentence with at least one dependent and one independent clause joined by subordinate conjunction. And we just have talked about a compound complex sentence. Sentence has at least two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. For example, just have this example. We decided that we would read the book together, but Tom, who is selfish, very selfish, did not share the book with me. Dear students, I have an assignment, that is read and listen to the lecture till you get yourself fully understood about today's topic, and write down 10 examples of each types of your own. Right? Thank you.